And we are live. Welcome to another LSDJ Telemelt Live with me, Defense Mechanism, as well as our guests for this evening, Connor Baxter and Skip Sandwich DX. Thanks, guys, for joining me.
It's XD.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's Skip Sandwich XD. Sorry, I forgot. I corrected it already.
Start again.
Yeah, so I think you'll want to become player, and then we should see you hop over. I don't know exactly. I think there's a button on the lower left in the Telemelt that should say become player.
Do I need to join active players?
Yeah, I think that's it. There you go. Okay, so yeah. And then we can kind of... Oh, Skip Sandwich Deluxe. We can kind of go through and listen to what we did last time. I upped the tempo already because I just felt like it was like dragging slightly. Also, thanks Lexi for joining. I should probably spam a link somewhere. Yeah, here.
Oh. Castlevania time.
That's evil.
Yeah, so that's basically it. That section is still kind of a mess. I remember just being like, oh, yeah, I'll save that for next time.
I remember you guys doing that, and I was like, if they pass the controller to me during this section, I am just going to mess around with synths. I'm not going to do anything else.
Well, there you go.
Okay, that was...
How are the levels, by the way, for the people, for the chat people? That would be good to know. Because I'm always like trying to adjust after the fact, because I can't listen to the stream while it's happening, so.
Same, so. I think that like these are cohesive enough to kind of join.
Oh yeah, you can join those. I think I just put everybody on their own because it was easier to navigate.
I did think that maybe I'll listen to it again. Okay, so these are similar.
You can turn up the Discord. See if this is slightly better.
It almost seems like this is a little redundant going into this section where we start the counter melody.
Yeah.
And we lose the so we'll just move it down for a hot minute. See what it sounds like. Just I would say that sounds pretty clean. Maybe just have a little break at the end here.
Oh, nice.
And that's 20, just for reference. I'll just stick it right here just in case.
Yo, Disposable Planet, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, dude? Kinda liked it like this.
Oh my god, the BPM just went up by like 10.
Wait, how?
I don't know what. Oh, I think it's still like some kind of weird lag issue, but it's like it fixed itself last time, so I'm just not gonna worry about it.
I was slightly distracted by my finger because I stabbed it with a meat thermometer right before stream.
Oh, cool. That sounds fun.
That's like, hey, I'm gonna do the responsible thing and clean this thing really well.
Oh.
No good deed goes unstabbed.
I wish, maybe we can...
Can I ask more retro spectacles questions?
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, that's right. We should say that I released a new album, which it's not really new because all of the songs have been previously released on various, places, but they were not cohesively in one collection that everyone could listen to all at once. But yeah, go ahead.
And I feel like with what was it? I don't want to butcher the title, but I don't want to open a new tab. Night Ride,
1989 Late Night Drive. Yeah.
Late Night Drive. Yeah. That was such a polished track. I shared that with a few friends, and they loved it. So
thanks.
I got a couple new fans.
That was
pipeline.
Fun. There was a retro. I forget what the name of the battle was. It was some sort of like retro nostalgia, kind of in the realm of synthwave, vaporwave type of stuff for Battle of the Bits. So I decided to use the Dirty Wave M8 for that, and that was a lot of fun because it's got that it's got the FM synth engine. It's got the hyper synth. So I wanted to kind of try something in the realm of synthwave, but the thing is, I don't really know how to, write in certain genres, really. So they're all just confusing to me. So I
could
just...
fooled me.
What's going on here? Okay, let's... I wanna do like a weird kind of...
Also, the track that you guys worked on together was great too.
Oh yeah, thanks. That was for Weekly Beats, and I posted it, and I also posted it. It was for using Renoise. I was kind of doubling up on a lot of the Weekly Beats and the Battle of the Bits because they have a Renoise format for spring tracks. So I've been kind of messing around with drum breaks and different sort of, I guess, jazzy style harmonies, or I don't really know, but so yeah, that was a lot of fun. kind of wrote that and then posted it, and then Connor, well, maybe you can talk about it a little bit. I just saw this message. It was like, hey, I jammed some guitar over your track, and I was like, what?
Yeah. It was bad because obviously I was quite new to that server, and I was hearing so much cool stuff, and I was going, oh wow, okay, great. And then I heard your one, and I thought, oh man, I need to try and just play something on this. And then it was only because I half liked it. I was like, oh, I'll put it in there and see what they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really cool to jam over.
Yeah, it was. That really, like, I was like, this is so cool. The funny thing is that Renoise will like compress the audio, basically from like wave to FLAC, so it'll compress a bunch of the stuff. So, and the format limitation on Battle of the Bits allows for like and it gets like it's basically a zip file. So the compression is pretty good, and the file size limitation on Battle of the Bits for Renoise is like 25 megabytes. So I was like, I think if you give me the stems, then I can put them in the module and then like resubmit it with guitar added. So that was, I think it fit in there at 16K 44.1. And then I was like, cool, this is like a fully mixed track in Renoise, which is hard to do using the like default, like DSP effects and stuff in Renoise. I mean, it's not that hard because they like the limitation is also you can only use native effects. So because like that's what the free version allows you to do, and the free version doesn't allow you to save, but it does allow you to export. So I was like, I think I can make this work. It was interesting trying to find, like, I really wanted like a clipper / limiter, which they didn't really, you can do limiting, but it's kind of like a compressor. So like the peaks will still come through even when it's like turned all the way down, even, you know, set at limiting settings. But I found out that the maximizer module acts as like a clipper, I think. So I was like, oh, cool. I can like do the style of mixing that I want, and I feel like it came out pretty good. But at any rate, we ended up getting bronze, like placed third in all of Spring Tracks, which I was not expecting at all, which was crazy. Yeah. FLAC isn't uncompressed, so it is compressed, but it's a lossless compression. So you're not actually, it's not being psychoacoustically compressed, like no audio data is being removed. It's just that the file size gets compressed. So I may be able to do this. So I just kind of want to, maybe you could go a little bit lower.
Well, I wish I knew how to play the guitar and pair it with LSDJ and stuff, because that's like gotta be such a fun jam session. Like
I'm still learning. It's fun to try and make like a beat or like a chord thing with just LSDJ and just jamming with it, because it's so different to like, you know, using real instruments. It's still something I'm exploring with a lot. Like I've been trying to make a music which is more LSDJ focused, and then maybe having guitars as layers in the backgrounds, and then flipping that the other way, having like more of a modern track with LSDJ, like just for like synth layers. So it's been really fun to experiment with, and then just doing like pure LSDJ silly, you know, bleep bloop stuff.
I think you established that like you're more comfortable with the guitar than LSDJ. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think noodling around on the guitar with LSDJ will help you like figure out what you could program like into LSDJ?
I hope so, because I was trying to check out some people like, you know, like Danimal Cannon, where he whatever he does with his pulse synths, he like gets this really nice clippy sound. It sounds like a pick's hitting the strings, and it's really cool. So yeah, because you can sort of hear his, because he's obviously, it feels like he's more of a guitar player and then uses that stuff. You can hear like the melodies and the bends and stuff that are more guitar-like rather than synth-like. So I think, yeah, the more I learn with LSDJ, maybe I'll be able to emulate a bit more of that. Maybe the other way around, if I write a melody on the Game Boy, I can bring that to the guitar. So like sort of flip and flop between the two, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Danimal Cannon, like I think maybe it was the first to really do it. I think, like, maybe, like, the marriage of, like, guitar and LSDJ. I'm probably wrong. There's probably someone out there that did for him, but at least, like, that's how I discovered it. Like, the combo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, God, we're not even in the regular groove. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, Danimal Cannon is goated.
Yeah, like that whole, is it Lunaria album? With the sort of, like, white and blue sort of album cover is, like, insane. There's so many cool tracks on there.
Yeah, he's.
I don't remember. I don't remember which show it was, but either way, it was an amazing lineup. It was like either 8 Static or it was Blitfest, and Danimal Cannon was in the lineup with. I forget if it was Blitfest, which was Saber Pulse, or if it was one of the 8 Statics, and it would have been either Trey Frey or Bitshifter. Either way, I saw Danimal Cannon live, and it was like how I discovered him. And it was really cool.
Nice.
I think I'm gonna take this out. And then maybe we just... Where's this guy? I don't know if we need
Defense
any
Mechanism will do this thing where when he like programs LSDJ, he just does a bunch of stuff without listening to it, and I think that's crazy because I cannot do that. And like for me, I'll listen to this same thing over and over again until like everyone is probably super annoyed.
Same here. Just going, is it right yet? Is it right yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you hate your own music by the time you're done.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
know, I don't know.
Some
parts of it are it's not really. I don't really know what I'm doing. Like it's not like I have an idea of what I'm going for. Sometimes I do, and then other times, yeah.
It definitely seems like if you do, like it seems like you know exactly what you're doing because you can't hear what you're doing.
Wait,
like
what?
You know.
Wait a minute. What? That was goofy. What the heck? You saw like what the values were here, right? It was all like the third, like it was every note was a different value, and then I tried to transpose it up, that selection up and down, and it just erased.
Who was paying attention?
I know. Okay.
Someone save him.
That seems like a bug. It's like because I want these all to. Okay. Oh yeah, gotta go this way.
Do you ever miss customizing the shape separately in the old noise channel?
Never. I mean, there's occasions where I might throw an S command over here and then like follow it with a Z command, and that's kind of cool to do like in tables sometimes. Like if this guy is going to be a hat. What? Oh no. Oh no, this is fine. But maybe we can just call it a hat for now. Anytime I see a instrument that hasn't been named, I get upset.
I'm not naming anything on purpose, and in fact, I'm gonna try to get banned like Paul and unname all of your instruments that you name.
Paul banned himself from this one.
His Game Boy files banned themselves from his Game Boy before his gig. I saw some videos of his gig though, and he seems like he was doing great. So
I don't know about that. How good can it really be? Oh, that's not fun because he's not even here to defend himself.
Yeah, it's like it's not as fun if like it seems like I don't know.
Oh God. Okay. What else? Maybe we could travel over to this part of the. Oh, you said okay. So actually, I was going to ask Connor, how long have you been playing guitar?
Guitar, maybe like 16, 17 years, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I know. You lose count.
I mean, I can tell.
I sort of like started whilst I was at school. and it was just like a mix of like playing so much games and guitar, and then trying to learn video game tunes on guitar, and then it just sort of grew from there. Really, just went and studied it further, and I love it, man. It's great. Whereas
it's such
LSDJ, go on. Sorry, go on.
Yo, I was just gonna say it's such a cool combo to have, that Game Boy and guitar, and there are so many like examples of bands and artists, obviously from Anamanaguchi. There's like Revengineers, and there's like
Slime Girl's another one that did instruments.
Yeah, what's the one that's is it like J. Arthur Keen's?
I mean, I assume he played guitar, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
And Danimal obviously has been mentioned. It's just such a cool thing, and like I'm trying to think who else. There's a ton of them. I really like that. Like I also love Chip and live drums. Like that's another one of my favorites. But like Chip and live guitar is really great because it's just like it's kind of a complete thing because the Game Boy has enough to do like a backing track, and then you also could fill it in either with like rhythm guitar stuff or with like lead. But go ahead.
No, it's funny. I was pretty much going to lead on to that. Like because it's so good at doing like bass and drum sort of sounds. Yeah, as you said, it really can be like the backing track. So I've been trying to explore that a bit more. I haven't tried any live stuff just yet, but it's been fun mucking around with for sure.
And when did you pick up LSDJ?
It was pretty much over like lockdown, so like 3 years ago maybe.
Okay, nice.
I sort of slowly slipped into like the Game Boy modding scene and the Discord servers after buying a broken Game Boy and trying to learn how to fix it, and then slowly found like chiptune stuff. So like Trey Frey, you as well, and just like DJ Cutman and stuff in his channel, and just sort of slowly started listening to more of it.
Yeah, DJ Cutman, like if you look at his like This Week in Chiptune like catalog, he goes back a while.
I was lucky enough to make it onto like one of the last ones with just a little something off of Moon Mission, which
that's awesome.
I was like,
nice.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it's never coming back.
No, right. Like he used to be like he's pretty active on TikTok. I think this past year.
Okay.
I did actually.
I'm not.
I made one of his original. I was on his one of his original This Week in Chiptunes. It's so funny. Like, I was on one of the originals, and you were one. One.
Yeah. You've been around for a minute.
Yeah, making just like really, I think as Roboctopus describes it, as really unexpectedly wonky music.
Blep. I don't think I've named anything Blep. Oh, there's one that's not. Is this one even being used? It doesn't really look like it. This is just like a default.
That does not look like an envelope that I would use. Or is that envelope?
Blast.
Someone. Baxter, how do you say envelope? Is that envelope or envelope?
Envelope. I think for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's envelope.
Envelope sounds like something you use mail. You use something in the post office. Well, I like didn't really like when DJ Cutman used one of my tracks. It was my very first 2x LSDJ track, and I was surprised because I was surprised to hear that he changed the tempo like a lot to like pair it up with like another song that it was like blending out from or going into or something like that. And I remember just being like really excited. I'm like, oh my god, why does it sound so bad? Like, it sounds significantly worse now.
Just name it Erica. Great stream. Love the new layout. Fun to see Telemelt over something besides black background. Hey, thanks for stopping by. This is Batsley, who is the creator of Telemelt, which is always an honor to have you drop by. I see Steve is here.
Steve, I'm gonna force you to learn LSDJ one day.
Speaking of Roboctopus, did somebody ping Roboctopus?
I did not.
I didn't either. Maybe I will.
He's the kind of guy where if like he's available and wants to do it, he will be on.
Well, we'll get him next time. It's like hard enough to coordinate this. I complain about it. It's envelope for both words, says Steve.
Ooh. Yeah, I wouldn't trust me.
No, I didn't. I honestly, I think it can be pronounced either way. So it's maybe just regional or a personal preference.
Yeah.
No, I'm right. You guys are all wrong.
Yeah, it's just for you guys.
Yeah. I remember this. It needs to be. Oh, what we could do is actually just put a volume command in this, because I don't want it to be that loud. I want it to be
M00.
Quite quieter. 4.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask you to like use the volume column more, because I never use it, and I feel like I'm doing something wrong by not using it.
Something has to not be right with that, because it doesn't sound like it's changing at all. Oh, it's because it's the wrong table. I need to put it on this table.
How did the table get switched up?
I went there from the instrument instead of from the table. So if you go from here, it's going to go to the instrument table and not the one on the command.
The way I navigate LSDJ is the equivalent of a 78-year-old man driving around town. Like, as slowly and inefficiently as possible.
Okay, that's like slightly better. Maybe a little louder. Maybe we can also just set this to 0.
I'm so glad you did that, because like
because it was a little much.
Oh god, yeah, it was a little much.
Oh yeah, also, I think these bass notes, they never really got, like, there should be some more rhythm stuff happening here. And it's not just...
Comment, so you're telling me you need a map or GPS? It's not about... It's about knowing that there's a GPS and refusing to use it. The GPS, I think in the LCJ equivalent, would just be holding down the button and like swapping between instruments or tables quickly, instead of going back to the songs, to like the previous screen, just to go, you know, I'm like so inefficient in the way where I'm wasting like a bunch of different, just wasting like strokes and stuff to get to the same place. But to defend myself, if someone's watching me navigate LCJ who's unfamiliar with it, it just makes a little bit more sense than someone who's like, you know, really used to like traveling back and forth between pages.
Yeah, I know what you mean, where you're like, I used to do this all the time, which was like navigate from here back to the song screen, then over to the next one, and then all the way back, and I'm like, oh wait, I can just use B. But what I've noticed that like was like, watching the stream, it's nearly impossible to tell what's going on, because you can't, like, if you just see the phrases changing, you have really no idea where the person is. So yeah, it's...
Yeah, and I don't even want to ask the question, like, when did they even add that? And you're like, hey, like, 2005, like, or something a really long time ago.
2005? I don't think I was using LSDJ in 2005.
Me neither. But like, it's been around before that, right?
Nope. Yeah, it was.
What is MUDs? I used to play MUDs back in the day.
I don't know. I don't play video games, so I don't.
Is it
Multi-user dimensions. MMOs before MMOs.
Whoa.
Deep.
Wasn't that just Mario Kart? You got four controllers. It's like a lot. We're all old here. We're chiptune musicians. Are there like chiptune musicians that are young?
Oh yeah, there's too many of them, and I don't understand. I'm like, you didn't grow up playing this. Like, what are you doing?
Wait, is that like ASCII art, like Dwarf Fortress, like OG Dwarf Fortress, similar, like, or are we talking before that?
Dungeon. Multi-user dungeons before Dwarf Fortress. Oh, but Dwarf Fortress, yeah, that's kind of a newer, isn't it? What about like NetHack? That's not multi-user.
Are you like low key, like like a gamer? You don't want to admit it.
No, but I have looked at a NetHack.
That'd be great if you were just actually the biggest gamer here and you just didn't want to admit it.
Just plat trophies on every single game.
Yeah, you had like a shrine of like cartridges and stuff, and you're just faking it.
I think it would be cool, but unfortunately, like, it's not true. I wish that though, because like, it seems natural. I mean, I used to play, well, obviously Game Boy when I was a kid. I didn't really have an NES, but I had a Super Nintendo, and then like there was always that one kid on the block who was an only child, so his parents gave him every console that ever came out.
Yeah, sure.
So I would go over there, but like I didn't really ever get to play the games. Like I would just watch him play, but it was cool because like they would rent a game like every weekend, so he always had like a new game and stuff like that, whereas my parents are like, we will buy you one video game a year.
Right, it's like birthday, Christmas at best, and you better make them count.
And mine was a combo because like my birthday is like a week away from Christmas, so it was always like,
nice.
Here's
Bummer.
your birthday and Christmas present. It's like, oh, come on.
That's the classic story of the kid born too close to Christmas.
Yeah,
What a shame.
I can't recommend it. Windows 3.1. Did you have like that Voyetra sound with like the Microsoft MIDI? Because that was the one that it was like a Packard Bell multimedia. So I was listening to all kinds of MIDI files on that thing. You'll hear some of that MIDI on Retro Spectacles. I should post a link to that. I released a new album in case anybody didn't catch that part yet.
Listen to it, it's fun. And there is one LSDJ track.
2.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So one of them is featuring Hunter Van Brocklin, who also is known as Dammy Fortune. And that song is called Friend Bender. It got submitted to, I think, a winter chip, maybe for 2022 or something like that. So that was a fun one, but it didn't rank very highly for whatever reason. And then, so that was that one, and then the other one was the puzzle track, I'm Puzzled, which was for the Button Masher Discord server puzzle theme Game Boy compo.
That song was really interesting, and I feel like that whole song was just like just a huge bag of tricks, like with like the instruments you were coming up
I went
there.
nuts with it. I should probably post the LSD project file. Oh, I think, well, I did in that server, but I ended up going crazy and doing the Sunsoft bass. So like I sampled synth notes for the bass so that I could do bass and like an Amen breakbeat in the wave channel at the same time. It sort of worked, but I feel like the Amen break, because it's only using, half of that channel and the other half is playing the bass. Like the bass notes have to be so loud to fit through that like the Amen break kind of gets buried. But then in the second half of the loop, I'm only using Amen break so I can double up and get the right amount of gain. But I'm still happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah, it was cool. I listened to it while I stabbed my finger.
It wasn't the reason, obviously.
Nah, stabbed my finger, not my ears.
Yeah.
I want to ask if you kind of mulled over the details of like the volume and mastering of your tracks. Like, are you super strict with how each of the track sounded compared to the other ones?
Yeah, I sort of had some of them were kind of already mixed and mastered. Just because I have somewhat of a workflow for a quick master, especially for the short tracks where it's the first track is only a minute long or whatever for the weekly beats ones. So I'll just kind of slap on some, stuff at the end of the chain and then get that going. And then, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the loudness war, but I'm still mastering my stuff way too loud anyway. So I just kind of try to get everything up. One of them, I think it was Friendbender, that was I ended up mastering it way too loud. So Disposable Planet helped me a ton with giving me a second set of ears. He helped with the track sequencing. He's helped me with the album art and stuff. As you could see, there was. Whoa, wait! Can I get it up on my? Where is it? Can we? Oh, yeah, this guy. Yeah, this. Ah, it's huge. Yes, he made this.
Oh.
So that was cool. Some promo materials and stuff, so that was awesome.
Is that your dog?
That is my dog. That is Coda.
Hey.
I put some glasses on Coda.
Cute.
Yeah, so let's see. That's a slight improvement. Okay. How do you feel, Connor? Do you want to take it for a spin, or should I pass it back over to Skip?
we can give it a go.
All right.
I'll try some stuff, and then you can fix my mistakes.
Yeah, there we go. Coda the cutie.
I love that little bit you added.
Thank you. You expect
it grounds
mistakes
it a
to be
little
fixed? Right. It would have been funny if you misspelled mistakes. There's no mistakes in music. Happy little accidents. Just parts that someone else wants to do something else. That was kind of the best part. That is really one of the best things about collaborating. With Friendbender, I sent Dammy Fortune the first, I don't know, the first bit, and then he just wrote the second half of the song basically. He made it up tempo, made it almost like the chorus. I was like, this is great. I'm gonna slow it down, put a solo over it, pass it back, and then we'll be done. My stakes.
I want to know if anyone, because I know this, a few of my friends who are LSDJ musicians will slap the same EQ profile over all of their LSDJ tracks. And I've tried to do that. Yeah, I've even referenced theirs, their profiles that they've given me, hey, this is what I do, and I just feel it doesn't work with everything that you between tracks, and I don't know if I'm convincing myself that it doesn't sound good, or I'm wrong, and of course it makes sense to have that.
Well, it might
sonically they always sound the same.
Yeah, of course it might work if every channel it has a predefined role. And you don't stray from that, but even I'm thinking on Sunburst, or I don't remember if I did it on Psychology. I'm sure I did, because there's sections of the song where sometimes I might have a pulse bass or something like that. So if you I'll use RetroPlug and render out each channel separately so that it's MIDI synced. It's easy to go in, slice stuff at the bar line, and not have to worry about, you know, am I slicing it, you know, right on the section where it like changes, or because the LSDJ tempo is not going to be perfect enough compared to a DAW. But then from there, I'll have different tracks for like pulse lead, pulse bass, pulse percussion, wave lead, wave bass, you know, I've gone so far as to split off the kick drums even entirely, which is way too much work and I don't really recommend it, but I didn't really do it for this one because there's only a couple of LSDJ tracks and they don't, I mean, Friendbender's got a wave lead for so much of the song anyway that it doesn't really require that. But for Psychology, I wanted those like hard, heavy hitting kicks. And I know for a fact, speaking of Danimal Cannon, that he goes in and like replaces all the kicks with something that's not LSDJ. So there are like tricks that you can do like that. I'm fairly sure that the guy who mixed, God, I almost said Button Masher, Bit Shifter's album, God, what was that one?
The newest one? The new compilation of old songs? I think Trey Frey did that.
The one before that.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Talking about like 10 years ago before that? Or like
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to pull it up just so that I can see what I'm talking about. I know the guy who mixed it. I think his name is Luke Chaos. He also mixed .exe's jams.exe. Closed System Blues is the one I'm thinking of. I'm fairly sure. Oh, it's mixed and mastered by Luke Chaos, who's incredible, and I think that he uses like basically the Ableton drum bus plugin to give the kick like an extra hit in the sub that kind of like has a little bit more decay at the end of it, so that it's not just like, you know, it's like boom, and you can hear the sub kind of sustain even after that. That's what I hear when I listen to it. I don't know this for a fact, but like I seem to feel like there's a little bit extra going on. So that's kind of what I wanted to emulate on Psychology. But then I also wanted it to provide the raw direct hardware out from Game Boy, because I think that's I kind of want people to hear like the difference between the produced version and the non-produced version, because sometimes I'll be playing a show and somebody will like come up after me and they'll go like, does the Game Boy really have that much bass? And then I show them the bass EQ on the mixer, which is cranked like all the way up. And I'm like, yes, like it's there, but that's not how it sounds coming out of the console.
I will say that when I downloaded your project files to eventually work on the remix of Same Song, I just like, I know for a fact this song exists in this save file on one Game Boy, but I won't believe it until I hear it, because it's just like that slap bass synth and that smoldering bass line like that comes in like in the later half, like, is crazy. Like
that was
it's
a
just
lot
so
of fun.
full sounding.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna read what Lexi. I think of it like guitar settings. Some people keep the same tone on their guitar all the time. Others change it every song. Yeah, but yeah, that's true. And yeah, like that was a fun thing to do with that slap bass, because I've seen. So speaking of Roboctopus, he's got that LSDJ and You series of blog posts where he's like, let's create a slap bass. And then there were some other slap basses that I've seen and heard. There's a whole thread on chipmusic.org about people posting their slap bass. And one of them was like, Infodrive did a cover of Stevie Wonder's I Wish. And so he posted that in the PSG Cabal Discord, so that I got to peek at that one. There were a few other ones that I picked up. I think Taboke Gao had a slap bass. So I took all of these different slap bass waveforms and I put them in one instrument, and then I had it like do a random selection, so it would like start with that sort of like, it would start with whatever the first one I found was, and then it would kind of randomly pick a different tone so that it would have like a more kind of organic, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the tone would change. So it wasn't just like one static note. It was like, I mean, it's different every time I play the song, but it's just a very subtle difference. So
I like how that synth has a family tree of like genetics. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I mean, what a great sound. It just seemed like it needed that. It's kind of its origins were as like kind of a funk type of jam. Actually, it really started like a lot slower. It almost didn't, speaking of what you're saying, it almost didn't work in the context of that album in terms of mixing it, because honestly, it needs to be like a lower mixed, the volume needs to be lower and it needs to have more dynamics. And so many of the tracks, like I was really going for like that EDM, just, I don't know, like -5 LUFS or like some insane level of loudness, which really, you know, it's kind of fun to do.
I don't think I've gone lower than 10. Like.
Yeah, so it's I was like, how can I mix this in a way where it fits where it's supposed to be, but it speaks like, I don't know, like it doesn't just sound completely blown out, because like trying to get all of the volumes hot enough to fit where it's supposed to be in the mix, that was tough. And a similar thing happened in Moon Mission, which I don't know, if I get around to it in a couple of years, maybe for 10 years, I'll remix and master it or something, because it was recorded on LSDJ version 5, and like I had no idea really what I was doing when it really came to the mixing and mastering. RetroPlug didn't exist. And like, I think the second song is louder than the third song, but the third song is way more intense, the Transcendent Descent, and when it comes on the EP, like it sounds softer, and then it doesn't really get louder. So like, I might, you know, use my new skills to see, like, I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like things are changing in terms of like streaming and the loudness wars, because they're starting to turn stuff down, which is good overall, I think. So it might be better in the end to retain some more dynamics as opposed to just clipping them all off. But at the end of the day, like, it's a Game Boy and everything's gonna get clipped to oblivion because there's so many square waves that it's just tough to deal with.
Excuse me, Connor. What are you doing, sir? This is illegal.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I was supposed to leave it blank. No. I'll put some rocket ships. There you go.
Name it Stab.
Love the first tune on the Moon Mission EP. That bass is fantastic. Thanks. That one actually started as a collab between me and Nintendo Kwando. I think they started the song, and then I kind of finished it, and you can hear where it becomes just like the Defense Mech banger mode. Activate. Oh, hey, that's kind of fun with the emote wall, and the rockets are kind of flying all over the place. Good use of the rocket emoji.
They're going the wrong direction. I don't think
no, that's
Elon Musk would appreciate
that's
the
how
trajectory
rockets fly.
physics.
That's how rockets fly. That's the kind of origin of the name of the second track on that one. Perilous Paralunar Maneuver. The idea being of like you're flying to the moon, and you've got to switch orbits from the Earth's orbit to the moon's orbit. So that's kind of perilous, and paralunar meaning like around the moon, and the maneuver being that you've got to make that. I don't know exactly. It's like you got to turn on thrusters or something. Elon crashes more rockets than he flies.
I've seen one Cybertruck so far.
Wow.
And, yeah. Wait, do you think I should see more, or haven't seen none?
I've never seen one. I mean, I've seen a video, but I've seen a bunch of like Tesla, whatever the sedan is. I don't know, but I've seen those around. I haven't seen any of the trucks.
Oh my god, this
though.
stream.
If you've seen one, you've seen too many. Yeah, that's it. Those things rust when you stare at them.
There's like I live like near like a really affluent like shore like vacation resort town, and there's a lot of people with disposable income. So there's this one guy who like just drives it everywhere, and I'm sure I'm a little nervous because I'm afraid that his accelerator is gonna get stuck and he's gonna crash into me because he drives past me like a lot, like when I head into work.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, this is sounding cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to like follow that thing and then sort of go more like really blippy, sort of glitchy almost.
There you go.
I might try and change the bass and sort of go with that as well.
You should double that up in the next channel.
Yeah, so at the moment I've done that. I tried the octave up, but I might try a fifth apart and see how. I'm not sure it's a bit too far out.
Oh, cool.
Or a flat six.
I like this area because I feel like there's no rules.
Yeah.
And the way I make my music is like I feel like I'm making the same 3 songs in 100 different ways. So it's interesting to hear this section.
Let me think here. Let's keep those 2.
It was also what was cool about doing Just the Crust with Paul, because his writing style was keeping me on my toes.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Am I allowed to mention how awesome Bunny Hop is on your stream? Is that illegal?
Yeah, Australian freeform jazz. You mean like free jazz? I know that there's a few different kind of schools or something of free jazz. It's not something I regularly like listen to, although I do like appreciate it from time to time. There are no mistakes, but there are definitely I think I'm supposed to say definitely abominations.
I listened to this jam band from like a long time ago, the Numa Trio, and the way you were like composing your leads in your album Retrospectacles like really reminded me of how that keyboardist from that band played.
Oh.
And it was just very fun, very playful, almost like you were like I imagined you on the spot, like coming up with a lot of the stuff. And,
that's
like,
probably what happened
so well.
A lot of that, some of them were from 1 hour battles, so literally, yeah, on the spot, and then some of them were like, it's Sunday night and Weekly Beats is due, and I have 45 minutes or whatever. Like,
wait, were they all M8 tracks?
No.
Okay.
Every track is well, I was gonna say every track is different, but there's 2 M8 tracks, 2 Corgan 5 tracks, 2 LSDJ tracks, 2 MIDI tracks, 1 Renoise, but then there's a couple that use Reaper with either like Redux, or one uses Reaper and Renoise, like so it's like kind of a hodgepodge. But then there's 2 that use the Roland MT32 emulator, which is called Munt.
Okay.
But
I'm glad you said that, because like I really like couldn't define in my head like whether it was M8 or not. I'm like, no, this can't be. Like, there's no way this is M8. And I also was curious if I guess this doesn't apply like to every song, because you just told me that there's different mediums. But like when you were composing those like those jazzy bits, were you like programming them, or were you like performing them with like MIDI data?
It really depends. Like, the more intensive stuff was definitely like composed that, in a way where I was like working through it pretty meticulously. And then for some of the other stuff, I think a lot of what you're thinking was probably like more meticulously composed, because I don't have those kinds of chops to just be able to like bust out, that's like what it sounds like if I'm trying to play chords with no, without figuring out like, whatever. But yeah, so there were times when I was really just trying to work out ways that I could sound crazy.
Is there any other jazzy chiptune musicians? Like,
Retro Spectacles has some serious Digifoo energy and the smoothness. Well, I think of like Schnaboobala, although I think that kind of goes way beyond jazz. And then Button Masher, I would say for sure. Which is really almost more like jazz fusion-ish. Vert, I think, can get into some of that territory, although there's also more of like a rock and like blues kind of element, but he definitely can get there. Or even some of his, it's like almost Bach, but like with blues in it and stuff. In terms of like, there's that whole album Kind of Bloop, which is the cover of the Miles Davis album Kind of Blue, which is all jazz. That's how I learned about, well, both of those guys. Yeah. Oh, it's Puke. What's up? No, you. I know, I picked the worst time for this. It's not the worst. I'm trying to be friendly to the, Europe and UK folks, which is, I don't know, it's like Sunday night, so I don't know how friendly that is, but like, there's a Battle of the Bits all gear that happens every Sunday at this exact time slot, and it goes exactly for the entire length of the stream. So I wanted to try to get Dammy Fortune on here, but I don't know that it's ever going to happen unless I like make it at a slightly different time slot. So. Remember,
as
kids?
As an American, I was under the impression that Europeans have nothing but free time and enjoy themselves. So they should be here.
Remember, kids, jazz fusion is not jazz, according to the exclusivist pricks that wanted jazz to control jazz.
Just play the right notes.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how. I don't know. I think that it is sort of. Like, fusion is kind of in its own category according to the people who play because they don't play jazz standards, and everybody says that the standards are, a part of the jazz language and yada yada. I think a lot of fusion musicians kind of started off playing a lot of those standards and then kind of was like, I want to do my own thing. But I don't know that that's as true now, because I feel like if you wanted to start playing guitar and you really loved like Alan Holdsworth or Mike Stern or a lot of those types of guys. I don't know. Who are some of your like influences guitar-wise?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's always changed over the years, but like, Mike Stern's a big one. Paul Gilbert, who's quite a shreddy guy in the 80s, I really like. Jeff Beck, if you've ever heard of him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, when he does the stuff with an orchestra and he's sort of leading, it's so vocal. I really love that sound. But then like funk and soul, like Nile Rodgers, Chic, Jamiroquai, stuff like that as well.
Oh yeah, nice.
Anything funky or really vocal and tasty, yeah, I really like. And I like my prog rock and progressive stuff as well.
Oh, sweet.
Loads of effects and atmosphere and making guitar not like a guitar.
Yeah. One of my favorite guys who he's kind of in this like funk fusion world is Wayne Krantz, but all of his stuff it's like all bootlegs. He's got like a few albums, but the best stuff, in my humble opinion, is like the kind of 90s to early 2000s, and he was working with a couple of guys like Keith Carlock, the drummer who's now known for like playing with Steely Dan and Toto, but was unknown at the time he started working with Wayne, and then another guy, Tim LaFave, who he's playing all over the place too, but like they kind of almost get into some sort of drum and bass territory at points, because LaFave and Wayne would use all of these different effects, so like ring modulators or like that real sub bass pedal type stuff, or then they'll get kind of into like this like space funk land. It's really, really cool. I'll have to send you some stuff.
Yeah, dude.
And also he played on Tal Wilkenfeld, the bass player, her first album. She played with Jeff Beck, so yeah.
She did, yeah. Amazing player. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff. If you've heard her first album, that Wayne's on that album too, so that's kind of fun, because it's like a Wayne album that he's like not really a sideman, because he kind of only does his own thing, which is like mostly improv. So it's all 4 and 8 bar and 16 bar phrases, like what you would hear in funk, like James Brown stuff, or like in Prince, like 2 huge influences for him. But there'll be a head and different like sections, but once the music runs out, then they just play, and maybe he'll say like A, and it's just a key. It's not even like major or minor. It's just like the note, and then they just play in those phrases and just react to each other, and it's amazing. It can't ever be replicated. It's so cool.
Yeah. Ah, so cool.
Anyways, I just went off on a tangent about like my favorite guitar player, but I appreciate you bringing those because there's so many just like incredible. Yeah.
It wouldn't be like Telemelt stream without like Def Mex tangents, and it's like half the fun.
Yeah.
Can we hear what you?
Because if the it's like,
we hate it.
On topic.
Well, in my group of friends, I have the reputation to be the loudest and most obnoxious by far. And I'm not saying you're loud and obnoxious, but you definitely have like a lot to say, and that's more interesting than what I have, where mine is just volume.
Oh yeah, I get that way, and I always tell people too, like, I don't on the stream because I'm the one who's running it, but like if I'm talking to somebody, especially if it's like chiptune peoples, I'm like, yo, tell me when to stop talking. It's like,
that's
if you have to go or do something like that, just be like, hey, it's time. I'll be like, okay.
Like, which is why I probably cut off your mic with a button.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just hit the buzzer. It's kind of nice to be able to talk about guitar for like a minute, because I feel like most of the stream is me repeating the stories that I told on the last stream and the time before that, and like
but every single time we talk about something we've like talked about before, we go into more detail, and
that's true.
And if you're not here for those details, then what are you here for? Like,
Lexi says I don't repeat stories too often, so that's good. Next time I'll repeat the stories that I told on this stream.
I like to reminisce about how I had no money, and me and my buddy went to Blitfest 2007 in a blizzard, and I didn't wear the right shoes, and and we walked through the city because we didn't have enough money for transportation, and like my socks were completely wet with like it was just like trudging through like slush and snow and stuff. And
that is so real, though.
We stopped at like a bodega and had just enough for a sandwich. And then like we got in there and like we got to meet all of our heroes and stuff. And that was really cool.
That is very cool. It is weird doing that as well, because then you meet them and it's just like, oh, you're just a person who likes retro technology and music like me, and it's not that, I don't know. Maybe sometimes they live in a different country. That can be kind of novel.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I was very young and I didn't really. I mean, I knew that these musicians were from all over the world, but like I didn't anticipate Saber Pulse's Scottish accent when he started talking to me. Like, I remember he was hanging out at the merch booth or whatever, and he had his Game Boy with like. I don't remember if it had like the newbie light on it, but I remember he was showing everybody the song he was going to play, Manhattan Transfer, and the song that he made on the way there, which is like one of his classic songs now. And he was playing it through like the Game Boy speaker, like
yeah.
And it was just like
what you have to do, and it's impossible to hear anything.
Yeah, and it was just like a cool moment, yeah, my feet like. That was like a long night, I'll tell you.
Was that your first Blipfest?
It was my first like chiptune show in any capacity. Yeah.
I was gonna ask Connor, have you attended any kind of live chip events?
I haven't. I really keep meaning to. I need to get some in the calendar and come see some proper chip show.
Is there stuff that's still going on?
Well, there's a few. I've seen a few odd ones in like Sheffield in the UK.
That's probably like Harley's thing.
Is it like Steel City?
Yeah, that's Harley's thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to make it. Just every date I've seen, I've always been busy, and I really, really need to go.
Yeah, that would be
great, creepy. Yeah,
amazing. For us, I think we mostly have like MagFest, although there's a few shows that are happening. Something's happening up on the West Coast, up in Seattle or something like that. That's gonna be, but a lot of these things now, they're not just chip events, because there's things like the M8 out there now, and like I feel like a lot of the crowds and stuff are keen to see, like, you know, I guess like you might call it hybrid or something like that, where it's like, it's not just bleeps and bloops, it's not just NES, Game Boy, you know, whatever other odd, like, Amiga, somebody drags out an Amiga, like, you're like, ah! Even though I wish it was, because I love that stuff too, but it's also cool to hear the more like modern stuff. Oh, some retro game cons have a stage and might have some chiptune. Are you thinking of any like in particular? Because I know you've been going to a bunch of cons, and like, but that's not it's not as common from what I know. But Wavefest in Seattle, yeah, that's it. Some M8 stuff being performed. That's pretty cool. As far as I know, there's nothing really going on in the like Midwest area where I'm at. I've thought about trying to organize something, but it's like, I don't have it in me really to be an organizer.
I wish 8 Static would come back. That was like the greatest event when that was going.
You know, they did like a Porch Fest in Philly a couple weekends ago, and I know that like Sloopy Goop played and Animal Style played. I think there were a few others, but I bet you could play MGC in Milwaukee if you applied. Oh, that could be cool. I'll have to look into that, because Milwaukee's not too far.
Didn't you say you had a gig like last month?
I did, yeah. I had a couple, and they went pretty well, and then somebody else also hit me up for a gig. I think I might be doing one in the beginning of August, so that'll be cool. It's kind of a word of mouth thing around here, because like there's people that know what I'm up to, but it's obviously like, I feel like they just kind of rotate through the most common acts, and then you know, that takes about a year before they get back around to me, or before some like, you know, video game adjacent act is like playing in town or something like that. It's in March or April. Okay, cool. I could probably do that then.
I've gone to like, you know, a bunch of chiptune concerts, but I've never had a gig. This is the closest thing, but I've done open mics. I've never had any interest in doing them. But
I had somebody offer to let me play an open mic. It's actually, it's like they bring in a guest to kind of kick off the open mic first, so like, and then the rest of it's an open mic. But I was like, as much as I would love to, and normally I'm able to do that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, you know, life stuff, I'm like, well, it's just an open mic, so I'm gonna have to turn it down. It's also like a couple hours away, so it's like, by the time I try to get everything planned and all of that stuff, like, I'm not really about, you know,
I mean, you live in a city.
Playing really late and then like driving back late and all of that kind of stuff, like, unless they're gonna really set me up nice and like, you know, I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think open mics are cool, but you must have like coffee shops in your city that you can just do that if you wanted to.
I know, but does a Game Boy vibe really fit a coffee shop?
With the jazzy stuff that you write, yeah. Like, you can, you know, soften the blow a little bit.
That's true. I should write a little bit. I have some chill stuff. I could probably do it. Oh yeah,
that would actually be a cool. I just want to say that'd be a cool like goal, like for you to write like a chill like LSDJ track to be played at an open mic in a coffee shop. Like
yeah, that's
that'd
true.
Be a cool vibe.
I should really try to do that. I think there's like at least moments that approach that. Yes, VGM Con. I have been meaning to like check that one out. That's like, I think Minneapolis is like a 9-hour drive, so it's not like farther than MagFest, or it's not a longer drive than MagFest. But I feel like I could probably only make one of those happen like either Mag or VGMCon. So I don't know. Maybe if I should definitely apply though and see. Nice concept album. Oh yeah. Well, that's funny because like that last track on Retrospectacles is the Coffee Shop Indie Pop song. That one was also written kind of simultaneously for Battle of the Bits and the Button Masher Super Nintendo. Oh yeah, that's the only Super Nintendo track. Although No Name Rodeo Jones also uses like Super Nintendo samples, but it's like also I went crazy with effects and stuff on it. So, but yeah, so I felt like that could probably work in a coffee shop, but it's not Game Boy, and I don't know how I would like transcribe it. That would be there's a lot of that jazzy. That's got some jazzy stuff in it. Mag is definitely more chip folk, yeah, because it's been like kind of curated, or I don't know, like. It's been kind of almost marketed as like the chip thing with the chip space and the chip rave and all of that kind of stuff. So it's got that history. Sorry, go ahead.
If you do a coffee shop and it doesn't like, and something goes wrong, you can just like pull out your pour over setup and just make coffee.
just become a barista.
Yeah, exactly. Just like transition, just quietly just dismantle your setup, pull the coffee out,
get some on-the-job training,
put a beanie on.
Yeah. That's a great idea. I've been experimenting with some different pour over methods lately. Do you have a pour over method that you're using, or you mostly use AeroPress?
I use my Chemex too, and
okay.
I use the James Hoffman technique to put a chopstick in the mouth, because what happens if you use the Chemex, the filter will suction itself to the sides and into the little spout of the carafe. So if you stick a chopstick in there, it'll create air to pass through, so it can brew properly. But I've never dialed it in great. I've been so obsessed with espresso. But I used to go pretty hard with pour overs before I had a grinder, unfortunately. But now that I have a grinder, it's a grinder that's capable of espresso. So,
right.
And since I have an espresso machine, that's where my heart and soul is. But it's only a matter of time before
you get sick of espresso.
I change it up. That's how it's always been that way for me. I know that you're a V60 guy, and I want to do it. I just don't want to shell out $30 for the glass one.
Yeah, they've got a ceramic one too. I don't know if there's a major difference. I thought about getting it because I kind of I stopped using the plastic one, but I don't. It seems like the most approachable. I like the design of it. I haven't really tried any other. I don't have a Chemex. I don't have another like a Kalita Wave or like some of the other newer. There's some newer different ones that seem like they're probably good, but I haven't really tried it.
I like the idea of there's newer ones out now, and I think Hario makes a couple. Maybe I'll link them to you after this is over if I can find them. They're the kind where they hold all of the water in. It's like an immersion style.
Yeah.
And because you're gonna get that under extracted bits in the beginning in any pour over method, and coffee culture is different all over the world. There's similarities between all these places, but I feel like this weird esoteric way of making coffee where there's accountability, right? Every part of the brew process there's accountability down to every drop that comes out of the brew or the extraction, I should say. And I'm not sure how much of it is mental illness, to be honest with you, because it's crazy just to be concerned with everything.
Disposable Planet says, for those out there who are new to the stream, caffeine is very important to all of us. Yeah, I know what you mean, and I don't... Do you have a specific water that you use?
Brita.
Oh, okay.
Tap through a Brita filter. I haven't... I saw that there's huge conversations in the espresso realm about... Whoa, that sounds cool. About what type of water is best, and I refuse to even glance at it.
That's
I'm just
crazy.
Dude,
I'm gonna here's where I'm gonna take my opinions. Whoa, what? Oh, Well, I know
How dare
that
you
said
condescend
that,
us?
I know that you
chat.
said that you wouldn't be able to make it on stream, but you're still welcome here, even despite the fact that your music is horrible.
Oh my god.
Well, he's
Don't
here to
listen to
defend
him.
himself now, so I can...
Yeah. I was complimenting you.
Water matters to so many things. I'm just saying, because it's like coffee is like 99% water, so it's like I only use one recipe, and it's these guys make a product called Third Wave Water, and it was so funny to read. Like they got so much blowback on the internet. There were so many people being like, "Oh, coffee snobs have water now," and it's like, actually, this is a thing that every coffee shop, or not every. I don't know if they do it at Starbucks or what, but like a lot of coffee shops have conditioned water that they filter. They'll like use a purification process and then add minerals back in so that they get the same, profile, the same brewing profile, almost like you would for beer. Like there's people who use like Burton water salts to brew certain kinds of beer. I think that's in England, if I'm not mistaken, but from Burton Springs.
I would like to add that, and also this is a huge detail, that where I live, the quality of water is like really high. Like it's really high quality.
I kind of forgot about that.
Right, that's why my state is known for bread baking, pizza. It's what enables us to have our pizza's like top notch.
My state is known for having the worst water like in the country.
Right.
Not
yeah.
worse
So
than
like
Michigan, but like there's no care about the water at all. So we have a reverse osmosis filter, but I also have like a countertop water distiller. So I'll kind of go back and forth between those, and then adding in like a few different minerals. But the Third Wave Water recipe is like Epsom salt, calcium carbonate, I think, and then. Or no, it's calcium citrate and then salt. So
right, I definitely didn't mean to downplay how important the water part is, but I've clearly taken for granted that the water that I have access to is such high quality that, to me, once you can drink it out of the tap and it's great. If you filter it, it's amazing. You don't even have to think about it. And
I guess if
so
it were me,
that's been my life.
If I thought
Very
the water
lucky.
was good, I think I would probably get like a TDS or something like that, just out of pure like curiosity to see what it's sitting at. I know that my tap water is garbage, and like,
oh my god, I'm
for a
looking at these comments. Yes, I am spoiled. I'm so sorry. My water's good. I appreciate water.
Make the song 1516 or bust.
Paul, why don't you get in here and show us what it's like, dude?
It's done, yeah.
So but like when I first started getting into coffee, it was like, I'm going to, use like boiled tap water in a French press, which nothing wrong with French presses, but man, tap water, like there's just an absolute world of difference between my tap water and like what I can get with if I even try to purify the water. And like a Brita does nothing. Like it's not it. Yeah. I'm gonna
send you. I don't know how much it's gonna cost to send a gallon of water, but I'm gonna send you a gallon of my tap water. Do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And I only know for a fact that it's great water because one of my best friends works for the Department of Environmental Protection, and his job is to literally foresee like water quality in our state. So
nice.
He gives me all kinds of fun insight, and that's why I take coffee for granted.
Yeah, well, that's good because it's really annoying to have an extra step that involves like having to make a gallon of water to brew with. I've kind of gotten used to it now, but it beats the days of when I lived in an apartment and would drive to the store to use that, purified water station to refill like 4 or 5 plastic jugs.
I did take a road trip one time, and I was in the Appalachian Mountains, and I collected like several gallons of natural spring water from a spring water source, and it was great. And I mean, I'm not going to drive 4 hours for water because I don't have to, but yeah, I think it's like the most first world conversation ever. Like maybe Paul doesn't want to join us because he's a tea drinker and we're offending him right now.
I think it might just be late. I don't know. Yeah, but we were I mean, coffee is, it is a pretty cool thing. And tasty.
Yeah.
And
we definitely started a trend.
Isn't it like a part of your workflow to do LSDJ while drinking coffee?
It is, or is it the opposite?
To do
I'm
coffee.
not even sure. It's just like...
you write your song in coffee, and then you pour the coffee on LSDJ.
Even if I have, like, 2 hours of computer time before I go to sleep, I won't even pull up LSDJ because there's something about what happens to my brain in the morning when everything's so quiet and, you know, I wake up early and, you know, I don't know, it's just like, it's a completely different lifestyle than how I used to write music back when I was younger, when I would stay up all night and kind of party and stuff, and, like, it would be different. And so it's just like I've acclimated to just the caffeine rush with creativity, and it's just like a fun way to kind of like disassociate a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. 15, 16. The thing is, it is a good one. I agree with that. But like the groove that we're on right now is like 9/6 or something insane. So how are you gonna make it 15, 16 with a 9/6 groove? I don't even want to think about how. I guess you'd have to make it, it would be, I think line E would have to be 5 ticks, because that would be, I don't know, I don't want to think about it.
We've been chatting so much, can we back up and like listen to what you've made? It's like, you've been doing a lot.
Guys, let's try it out.
Add a tempo change on it.
Yeah,
not my problem, I'm not in the stream. Yeah, that's right, and you won't be at this rate.
Let's check it out. So they're coming from sort of 8. Maybe, I don't know if it would come back into the sort of D minor chorus sort of thing. I'm not quite sure yet.
No, I think it should just go. It should go where it needs to go.
That E is goated, dude. Like, let me hear that again. That's so cool. That was such a cool change up.
Is it in this one? So this one's got like a. Sort of like
I kind of just want. I want more of that. Like pepper in more of that, just because it's just it's like a really fun rhythmic shift.
Yeah, I mean this one
carries it further.
This one's like, whatever the blast instrument is. I tried it with the chord and it sounds quite pretty evil. It was quite cool. So both of those together.
I can't wait to unname it, so it's a big mystery.
I think that was one that Dogs Plus named.
Yeah, I'll take.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I think that's the first time I've ever taken the controller, like, away from someone.
Nice.
Physically.
Yeah.
That's cool. Whoa, this sounds so different up here.
Yeah.
It's really complete different projects. It's like...
It's weird, yeah, because it's sort of, it's like D up there, and then it goes to like E or something.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Sometimes I like to just do really chaotic stuff when I'm working with LCJ, and it's ended up happening, like, what ends up happening is like either really awful or really fun, like creative, like stuff. Like, so sometimes I'll literally just like do what doesn't seem like it makes any sense, because it doesn't, and it's irrational, but I'll just literally paste something in just to hear how it sounds, like thrown in.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to just explore with like stacking different commands and stuff.
5A was this, and this is actually no, I'll use it. Oh wait, did you have a no? It's transposed here.
Yeah, I did a few sort of funny transposes.
And I did. Yeah, I like to do goofy stuff just to see what happens. It's not in key, but That's Paul's job to come in and fix it.
Yeah. You might be able to try from the last bar of the section I did. There's a small chance it might come back into that first bar of that phrase, but I'm not quite sure yet. Because the bass, at least on the wave channel, it sort of ends with a C sharp, so then it might come back into the D. That's the next bar, I think. Next 58.
Where is it supposed to go back to?
I'm not. I wonder if it would go back to literally like the first part in the tune.
Oh, up here.
Play it. Let's have a listen. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not hearing it.
Let's see.
It's not the worst.
It's
not
not
nice,
direct, but it's it's
yeah.
not like yeah. I'm with Skip though. I think that this energy should like continue.
What the which one? Oh, this.
Is there something?
Maybe bring back the
Yeah, no, that is right. Oh, I think this maybe can go here.
Yeah, way better. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I don't know. I was just gonna say, like, if you wanted to continue that, like, my idea would be to like, wait, we can also get rid of this.
I love this phone and cheese. The cheese phone.
Is like, I guess, like, bring this back and like stabilize the beat a little bit.
Mm.
You know, like, and this is the mess around. What's that? Let's try using.
I think it should just go here now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wanna try it? Oh wait. Oh, did I really do all that? Okay, that's a bad idea. We'll definitely need to clean up this because I didn't. I just cloned all of these.
Bonsoir, I would say. I mean, have a bad night. A bientôt.
Wait, did I get rid of it?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh no, I didn't. Hasta luego.
Yeah,
what
there you go.
Goodbye to? Wait, I'm so what am I doing?
Buena noche.
Oh, okay. Buenas noches. Bueno nachos. I just want to like bring back the four on the floor. I'm just gonna like kind of like be lazy. I like to be
I think it should be
like as experimental as possible usually when I start doing this weird stuff.
Proper low on the power chords, like snarky copy type, lingus, something, I don't know.
That's what it should be. Oh, hey!
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's cool. That's when we had CC Ivory on here. He was doing the same thing. I was like, that's what gave me the idea. I was like, I gotta get a piano like hooked into the stream.
Yeah. What is it? So I was listening to the last one, going, oh, that's a great idea having that, just to hear the keys and stuff. But yeah, I agree. Having that sort of like power chords, like fifth chords. You could come down to the drums, maybe have like some crazy cymbal stuff going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to do something painful. Which is something like, so what are we? We are 9, 6, 9, 6. So I want to make the kick shorter so that we can hear the bass. So actually that's not too bad. Yeah. And then maybe we get this. Oh wait, no. That's 9, so it needs to... Why do I feel like I want this to be even longer? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Sorry.
Connor, we did make a joke last stream or 2 streams ago about DefMech's keyboard being like tied in, and how we should just ditch LSDJ altogether and just have like a stream jam session. And now like you have that. My OP1 died, unfortunately. I was gonna have it.
Sad.
I also can't play instruments, so.
Same thing here, I think. Well, that's actually crazy. I don't think I don't know if I want to do that. It's crazy because it's like triplets. I don't know. We can see if it works. No rules, just bad sounds. Yeah, but I think it does need to be less. Like, well, why is this completely crazy? I want what do I want? I want the. I have no idea.
I thought you knew what you're doing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's working. I quite like that.
I have no idea. Regardless, we should reset it here. Yeah, that is definitely what I wanted. Okay. Well, Skip is like, bro, you gotta listen to it while you do it. Not that you're saying that I had to, but it's just like, I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to it and it's not making any sense whatsoever.
There is a lot of anticipation watching you do your thing.
Oh, it's actually... Oh, stacked fifths, man. Those stacked fifths, that's like, whoa. That's like my favorite sound, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's cool.
I'm gonna make one more. Oh, we haven't even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clone this and then.
This only happened because of that last little part that Connor made that I just got instantly obsessed with. I also am just a sucker for just like anything that sounds refreshing. Like, even when I'm making my own music, if I come up with a section that sounds drastically different than the previous, I'll just abandon everything I've done and just head into a different direction.
So this is...
Ooh.
I don't actually know what I'm doing as usual.
Hey, let me. I'll take it. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like to preface every single time I take over the controller that it should be understood that I don't know what I'm doing.
But also this so okay, what do I want to do here? I want this to be just a shorter kick. So again, 9-6, 9-6, and just for the kick to be shorter. So you do this and not have that, so it can be. It's not like it's not gonna be perfect, but we can mess with the length of the kick.
Steve, it's because traditionally, you know, programming LSDJ is usually very personal, just by nature.
Oh.
Whoa! That's fun.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever messed with like these groove time signatures before.
Oh, we could even make the kick shorter. Yeah, that's really kind of closer to what I want. That kind of works out because it's in the realm of that 15. In fact, we could just go without the kick. And maybe even make these guys a little shorter.
Yeah, maybe do a fun little, like a little noise channel thing to complement it too.
This is funny because, yeah, now I'm in the realm of the groove where I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Maybe we could name this song after our confusion. Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's cool. Oh, let me put this down. It's like going into like crazy circus vibes now. Circus disco.
This is what happens. This is the crazy thing. I mean, it's probably just me, but also because my vibe is that I want there to be pure chaos and no rules. So I've noticed this with in the beginning, like Koala and I did a bunch of these streams, mostly on Twitch, and there are two songs. What is it? Malicious Machine Malfunction and Slumber Tumble, which both just have like crazy stuff happening that was the result of us being like, what if we did this like insane thing? And then it was like, well, now we have to commit to doing it because we can't not do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like, it's the fun, it's like momentum, you know? It's like what's fun about this?
Yeah.
Like
nobody's written music like this before.
My original plan was to like finish that like section where I was including the counter melody, the area of the song where we like ditched like the chords, and I was gonna like evolve that, but like as soon as I heard like that fun little spot that Connor made, I was like, well, this is just cooler, like, and I'm not gonna like, you just gotta go with your gut at that point, and right, like you were saying earlier with navigating with your morning ritual. Yeah, Steve, like I said, by nature, LSDJ has always been just solo single-player experience. It wasn't until, like, doing this kind of stream where, like, it was ever, like 2P1C kind of style experience. Oh, did we clone the drums?
I think definitely did a few. You did a few things, didn't you?
Did Paul remember to clone the drums so he doesn't ruin this part of the song? So fun fact, my buddy Steve and I would we used to run Mario Lost Levels with one controller. One of us controlling the D-pad and the other person controlling A and B.
That's crazy.
And we beat. I think we like. I don't know if we beat the game or not, Steve. Do you remember? But we got far. Like we did really well, and it was like a symbiotic like Mario playthrough. And if anybody remembers Lost Levels, it was the original Mario 2 before like Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, of course.
And it like obviously really floaty, difficult.
Now, are you talking about like on Mario All-Stars?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't have Lost. That was the first time that we played Lost Levels.
We won! Yay!
Hey!
Steve says we won.
I just remember getting killed by like the poison shroom and literally
Yes.
the first level.
Yes.
Just like going, oh, this is not normal Mario.
I don't know. defense mechanism is trickle truthing us on his video game like background. Like all
No. I grew
levels.
up playing Super Nintendo. I told you that. I mean,
okay, yeah.
My dad also had an Atari 2600, so there's like that deep, like Yar's Revenge. Oh man, you ever play that one?
I don't.
You're like this little bug, and you got to go eat the shield.
Oh, is it Atari? Is it an Atari game?
Yeah.
No,
and there's
no,
like this like
I remember
static zone, a safe zone in the middle, and you can like shoot this missile at it, and then like there's like a little dash that comes eats you, and it follows you around the whole screen, and then it just gets like faster and crazier as you go. But yeah, it was like Super Nintendo and Game Boy. I played those, you know, and then eventually we got like a Nintendo 64. So, you know, we never had Mario Kart, sadly, but you know, Mario, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, some Pokemon in there. And then the last game that I really ever played was I was in high school, and a friend of mine was like, hey, I just gave my Super Nintendo to my niece, but she was like pretty young, so he was like, she can't play these games, do you want them? And it was Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana.
Wow.
And I was like, yep.
Yep.
So I played through Chrono Trigger. I never actually played Secret of Mana. I think I still have the cart up somewhere, so I should probably play through that one, but Chrono Trigger was like the last video game I really seriously played through, like start to finish. And then eventually I got like a DS, but like a lot of this kind of stuff would just be like, I played like the Rhythm Heaven games. I don't know if those really, how much they count as actual games. Or like WarioWare, you know, like some of those.
They're definitely games. Did you ever play Owen or Elite Beat Agents for the DS? Like those
yeah,
games?
I played some Elite Beat Agents. Yep. I don't know what the other one is.
I feel like the more we talk about video games, like we're gonna keep climbing the timeline of like new consoles, and you're like, yeah, so like I have a PS5.
No, the newest console I have is Nintendo Wii.
Okay, well,
Wow,
that's
yeah.
you know.
I've got some credit. No, but
old.
I just learned that they've got a Rhythm Heaven Wii game, and I never played it, so I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna have to hook up the Wii and give that a go.
Stream it.
I don't think I can. Cause you gotta, I don't have room in this office to like set up a Wii and then sit, you know, far away enough to where the sensor thing is gonna. I don't know if you have to actually use any of that actual functionality of like the Wiimote. That's what it's called, the Wiimote, where you're pointing the cursor at the, you know, thing. Stream it.
Did I mention?
Okay, I might if I can get it to work, then maybe. I need like I've got a capture card. But that's hard to do because then you really need to split the signal so that you can watch it, because like otherwise that capture thing has so much latency. How am I gonna play a rhythm game? Like, it's fraught. I could use an emulator perhaps. I guess I hadn't really I've never thought about trying to emulate a Wii.
Did I ever mention that I have like,
get a better capture card? Oh yeah, well I guess I could do that, but to stream one
like,
rhythm game though?
I mean, this could be like a long and fruitful like playlist of like defense mechanism revisits gaming.
If I end up, you know, not having anybody on a Telemelt stream, then we could always pivot to trying to play a video game. I'm so bad at video games. Like this is why like
that makes it fun, dude. We'll just have you be bad.
I mean, if you say so, I that sounds fine. It sounds less fulfilling to me, but it does sound like means that it's better content for streaming. So I get that. But like rhythm games are like one of the only things I can actually do. And I mean, I'm not even a very rhythmically solid musician. So it's kind of like it allows me to feel good at music and video games.
We should just force you to play the most difficult games.
Like Dark Souls.
And like, to be honest, I don't play a lot of video games either. Like, you know, like music being gamified by LSDJ is like what I spent by far the most of my time with the past like 10-15 years. Like no questions asked. But like I probably have like 10 games that I've played like a decent amount like in the past like 10 years.
What's the newest console that you own?
I mean, I always update my PC every, you know, like 4 or 5 years, so, you know, like Steam games are always my go-to. So it's Switch and Steam.
Okay.
You know,
I have.
Or not Steam anymore. PC.
I built my PC like 2 years ago. I didn't like max out everything to game on it, so I don't have like. Well, yeah, I mean it's decent. It can. I've picked up a few Steam games, but I don't really play them. I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and then I'll play it for like 2 hours, and then that will be the end of it. But I don't spend like tons of money. Or sometimes like I'll pick up the games that my friends have worked on, so that's always cool. But I don't like devote like tons of time to it.
This might be too spicy for the stream, but
teach you to play Dwarf Fortress.
No, well, Steve taught someone, let's just say in the most polite way that this person did not have the mental faculties to understand Dwarf Fortress, and he taught him how to play Dwarf Fortress. And I don't mean that in like they're a disadvantaged sort of way. I'm more like I'm influenced sort of way.
Yeah.
And it was literally the most hilarious thing, like seeing this person like become like interested in Dwarf Fortress. And this was like before they had like a graphical like layout. It was like all like the old school one.
Yeah. Like Terminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just like it was like oil and water. It was just witnessing it emulsify like before our eyes. Steve and I have a lot of fun video game and chiptune memories.
I mean, I started getting into NetHack, and I was like, no, you really have to be like extremely like I don't know, like you really have to care a lot and devote a lot of mental energy to understanding what's going on. So it's like at some level, I gotta choose between like in which realm would I like to be productive? Like, I only made it to floor 15. Wait, no, 20. I have no concept. Actually, hey, wait a minute. Puke made a roguelite. It's kind of like a. Well, it was for a game jam, and it's called Cave of Grell. That one's kind of fun. It's like you're a duck and you get to go travel. It's nothing like what the complexity of even like NetHack is like, but. And then Dwarf Fortress, I think of as like, I don't know, NetHack on NetHack or something. It's like it's.
Throw a couple hammer-ons on there. I'm really liking how we're watching like someone else go at it.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I hope you're having fun, because like this is the greatest joy for me, is whenever somebody else takes over and starts going going ham.
Yeah, I'm digging it because it's actually nice to play off other people's ideas, because normally you're so like, you know, you're just you and your Game Boy wherever.
Yeah, looping the same cool 4 bars trying to determine like what should I do next, or should I keep tweaking the same phrase for the next 45 minutes. Yeah.
Whereas now it's cool because you can twist someone else's ideas. Yeah.
See, we're getting in. I just feel like the more people that I can actually get on stream, because once they realize like how fun it is, it's hard. And like we're coming up on sort of the end of the stream, but like I inevitably get to this point and I'm like, oh, I could keep going. Maybe we'll do a longer one at some point, but like it's tough because like time zones and the real life stuff. But like I like doing it because it's fun, it's fulfilling. We end up with material that I can steal and put in my live sets.
Right, like even if you can get someone to come in and just input like 2 little things, you know, we could riff off that and have a great time with it. I love to make people feel uncomfortable, and that's why I want you to play bad video games that you're not comfortable with. I also want Steve is a programmer. He's like super smarty pants, but he's not like very musically inclined that we've established yet. He could be. Like, yeah,
of course.
But if we got Steve on, if we could give in Steve to like just throw him into this pit of LCJ, that would make me happy. Steve, this is my long con. Sorry, buddy.
Oh my God, butt spot. Good bot. It's got the emojis that it's butt. Beautiful. That's just amazing. It hasn't even like appeared. Is this the first Telemelt stream that it's actually appeared on? I don't. I don't know what's been. Oh, nobody's really watching on Twitch. That's why. So it doesn't have any like messages to go off of. No, I think it would be cool for Steve to join because, you know, a lot of the stuff that I sort of angle my LSDJ content towards people who are already kind of familiar with. Oh, it appeared in another stream. Because like it's just easier for me to talk about it with somebody who has a knowledge base. I think there's just I don't really have patience to try to explain both kind of music theory, if you want to call it that, and also how to use LSDJ. Like, teaching a beginner how to use LSDJ in terms of interface, that's already hard enough. Because you got to tell them, here's all the key combos. Also, here's what everything means. Also, like, you have to do 10 steps before you can even play a note.
Right. And, yeah. It would be a little abrasive or slow in that regard.
So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's not necessarily like you really have to want to use it. And if you're trying to sell people on how to use it, it's it can be tough. But
hey, but you know what? That's why you don't have to take over. That's why you can be the little spectator. You can be a spectator.
Yeah. Oh, I could. Well, anytime anybody asks like how to start using LSDJ, I point them to Rocco's video, because Rocco has a video. I think it's a few years old, but it's still like completely relevant. It's the best video for how to start using LSDJ, and he'll walk you through like downloading the ROM, getting the emulator set up, getting some instruments made, and like maybe at some point, maybe the way I would do it is to have like a very meticulously crafted kind of scripted video where I kind of explain what I'm doing and then do it and explain the key combos and just like everything from that kind of basic level.
I mean,
but like I don't have the patience to do that at all. Even the songs where I'm walking through what I did, they're all after the fact. And as you can see, when I'm writing, I don't really know what I'm doing. So it's really hard. I have to go back in to an older track, figure out what I did, and then try to explain it again. So like the whole thing is kind of fraught with like difficulty.
I feel like you can at least handle like a semi-viral like this is how you can make Game Boy chiptune. Like the introductory to like the beginner, like absolute beginners.
Yeah.
LSDJ tutorial. There was a video that I watched because like I think I was like trying to understand more about like wave synthesis, and I was watching your videos, and I remember like you skipped a couple steps, and I was like, wait, but how did he get to what's going on here? And like I just remember like I wish like this was just dumbed down a little bit more for me, because I was trying to start from the ground up and like in this like category of understanding, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and that's always. I always appreciate when people like give me that kind of feedback, because I think somebody maybe have asked me to do like a wave bass tutorial, and it's always hard for me to figure out like what ground have I already covered, and you know, like if I were thinking about, I would think like, well, I like the tutorial on the wave channel, I would have thought that it would have covered how to make a wave bass, but like
you definitely did in a roundabout way.
The thing is, I don't know. It's explaining how wave synthesis works, wavetable synthesis, or you know how it emulates a subtractive synth and what these waveforms like sound like. That's one piece of it. But then like musically, what sounds good as a bass is a totally different thing. And I have like a couple of go-to, techniques for using the wave synth to create bass patches, and which I've done in this track. It's usually like boosting around that second like octave up from the fundamental, which is like 20, setting the cutoff to 20 and boosting there, and then adding some phasing in, the normal phasing, because I like the way that it sounds, especially with Silky Wave. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's still a lot of aspects of like wave channel usage that I deserve, like I deserve to like know more, just like for myself, to do the work. But it's always been for me. It's like as soon as I can get to a point where I'm making sounds, I just move on to the next thing. And and like there's a lot of different things that I've been practicing and trying to get good at that were really obvious. That have nothing to do with the Wave Channel, and so long story short, Wave Channel is still like my weakest link, and would love to like learn more. Maybe I'll go back to your videos, and now that I've been like using LCJ a ton since like last year, maybe I'll get it this time.
Yeah, and if not, it would be, I think, interesting to hear like what, you know, where you think that there might be a gap in the understanding, because then that gives me something. If I make a video in the future, or if we come back on stream and I'm like talking, you know, rambling about the Wave Channel,
you know what?
It could make more sense.
It's not really just you. It's how I was a previous like version 4 user going into like the 8 and on, and they definitely changed like the way you like did certain things. Like I spoke to a lot of like chiptune buddies like that used to make a lot of chiptune like 10 years ago that don't make any now, and one of the common things that they've said is like, yeah, just like all my like stuff that I did like it just doesn't work with the new version. Like I can't just hit the ground running anymore, so I just like kind of like don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I totally get it.
And like I think it's a shame, and I still feel that a little bit, because you know, I still like try to program like a kick the way I used to. I kind of have to reference, because there's so much more information on a new kick than an old kick, for example, like in the Wave Channel.
This is why you use a template.
Yeah, it's true. I just I did do that, and then I got annoyed with how like all my tracks were sounding too similar. So now I try to go out of my way to like start from scratch every time. So like the synthesis or is just like kind of like a little different every time, and I'm not trying to like, it's like less derivative.
I totally get it. I don't use a template anymore either, and it's just because I don't know, it doesn't take that long to set up. Like that's the nice thing about it. With a lot of trackers, you know, if you're using Family Tractor or Furnace or, you know, a lot of these desktop ones, or anything sample based, like you're loading in instruments or samples, and a lot of people have just like banks of instruments that they can work from. You know, a lot of those like like every Sega Genesis game has all of the instruments ripped from it. Even something like M8, you can just go in and load up some presets. And
yeah, I
LSDJ
found like a huge library of those. I found like hundreds and hundreds of like of like actual like not samples, but like actual like Genesis, like it was like Genesis represented in like the synth engines in the M8, and I was like, Jesus, this is so cool.
Oh yeah,
like,
that was me, I think.
What?
I made that.
What?
Yeah,
really?
There's a whole library of all of the Genesis instruments that are like ripped and named. So I compiled a bunch of them into like converting them into the M8 like FM synth. The downside is that because it uses all 4 modulators, you can't like, you don't really get to change the sound in term like using the, you could use a table, but like if you want to keep those envelopes the same, you kind of can't mess with it, which is kind of a bummer. But that was fun. That was fun to mess with.
That's
half
really
of them
cool.
are like completely silent, I think, but for the most part, yeah, they work pretty well. I didn't.
Was yours the one that was like organized by the game?
I don't remember. Yes, yeah, it's organized by game. Yeah, because that's how the original ones are sorted.
Wow.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
That's kind of my point. Is like, you kind of need that on M8 because the possibilities between the different synth engines and all of the parameters and all of the modulators are so great that like, yeah, when you're making songs, you kind of need instruments, like go-to instruments. I mean, you can design stuff from scratch. I do that too, but with LSDJ, there's just not that many parameters. So like, you're not dealing with a ton of time to design an instrument. Like you see when we design an instrument, maybe you could dive into some really crazy table stuff, but for the most part, it just...
With LSDJ, for me, it's always been, you know, how do you get the pulse channels to dance with each other and to make unique combinations? And experimentation, for me, has always been, like, the best way to do that. Just throw shit and see what sticks. throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And I found like I did a track on that one the Valentine 2 or whatever it was last February, and the hook in that song was just like pure coexisting like pulse channel experimentation, and I just found this a really fun sound, and it made me re-remember how like limited LSDJ is, but when you can get two different like pulse instruments to play with each other, that's when you start finding like more depth.
Totally. Have you ever done any 2 LSDJ songs?
I do. The one that I talked about earlier in the stream was the one that got picked up by DJ Cutman. Yeah. And that's an old it's, I think it's on my SoundCloud. It's called Black and Red.
Okay.
That was I think that was one of my first 2X LSDJ songs, and when I bought 2 of the I bought 2 Lincoln loads a couple 3-4 years ago when I found out about them, and my intention was to just go crazy with more 2X LSDJ stuff. It's funny, I wish Roboctopus joined us, because we had a conversation earlier this week about how we decided to not do that. For him, it was, we had different reasons, but we both came to the same conclusion.
This story should get repeated on the next stream. I'm gonna bug him to be on the next one. Hopefully he'll be able to make it. But yeah, talk about it.
I won't tell his side of the story, but my side of the story was that, why am I even trying to be good with 2 LSDJ if I'm not even good with 1?
I'll tell you mine. I don't know if it's similar to his, but I feel like it's so easy to pick up one Game Boy, because you've got one Game Boy, one cartridge, and a set of headphones, and you're good to go. But with 2
sets of hands for each side of the Game Boy.
Yeah, right. With 2, then you've got 2 Game Boys, 2 cartridges, a link cable, some kind of mixer, audio cables, like speakers or headphones, and then it's in one sense, with one Game Boy, I could sit on a bus, and write this, or just but then how what are you gonna carry that whole setup? I mean, also at this point is very silly when something like the M8 exists, and honestly, a 2 LSDJ hardware setup now, I don't even want to think about what that's gonna cost. I mean, even with used DMGs, to go from scratch, that's just so much more.
Yeah, I got all of my Game Boys before they started increasing in value. I have most of the Play It Loud colors, and I collected them from anime conventions back in the day, in 2000, I think the mid to late 2000s. I got them all, and they were
See, I don't
50,
watch anime
60
either,
bucks.
so this is another thing where I just can't connect with anybody.
I don't really watch anime either. I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, and that was it. But
I did. Yeah, we all did.
but the thing about anime conventions is that the dealer room, the giant room where they sold stuff, there's always retro video game booths, and there's always a big room that had a bunch of video games set up, and there's always a bunch of nerds who love video games just as much as and chiptune too. And I would busk chiptune for years, and I would just set up, and there's
videos of low-tech resistance. Have you seen that one? You were probably around during those times. This was more in the West Coast. I want to say maybe Portland or something like that, where it was these guys who they would bring this giant amp, and they would be playing their Game Boy stuff. I think it was Fighter X and those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely seen those
maybe
videos.
Maybe Spamtron. Yeah, and then they would try to get kicked out.
Yeah, actually, that's who Jack Electric Children was, because he covered a song of mine forever ago on his album I Am, and he's the one who convinced me to take the dive into 2X LSDJ.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure why he thought it was such a great idea at the time. I think because that was a fad, around
yes,
the early 2010s. It was
I feel Trey Frey kind of epitomized that whole 4 Game Boy. It's more Game Boys is better. That
his sound design to be fair, his sound design was crazy. Drift is one of my favorite like chiptune tracks of all time, and
we gotta freaking talk to Roboctopus.
I mean, you know, when you can get a hold of him, he loves talking. He loves talking shop.
Yeah, I know. I know. Well, I don't know if I told you this. My first chiptune, event was Little Sound Assembly. So that was in 2016, I think. And then I think I played the one in 2017, which was the one that he also came for. And there was a Super Game Boy set up with LSDJ in the corner, and for the entire time, not the entire time, but for the majority of the time, he was just there, like, messing around. That's why I was like, we've got to get Roboctopus on this, because he would be doing what Connor's doing right now, I think, and just zoning in, like, and just totally, like, going to town, which is super exciting, because I would love for this track to have a Roboctopus section in it.
I'm definitely going to timestamp this section of the stream and send it to him, and he's aware.
I know.
But as long as my schedule allows, I'll be on the stream. And it's really just because, like, I'm lucky to have a weekend day off with my job. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm happy that there is at least like some amount of consistency, because so far I have not had to carry the stream by myself, which is I'm very grateful for. Because I don't know what I would be doing. I mean, presumably I'd be trying to write music for 2 hours, but that also sounds like kind of a nightmare. Like, it's nice to take a little bit of time off from, like, not that I've been pretty active with Weekly Beats kind of through the beginning of the year, and then, like, also kind of with Battle of the Bits and working on some other stuff. So getting to release the album makes me feel like I can take a bit of a break and then come back with something else. I'm still working on a couple of things, but it's not like a very serious project.
I haven't had a chance to beg Roboctopus to open up the save file I sent him back in like October. My goal is to have my album done at the end of summer. That's like my goal, but I also had a previous goal of it being New Year, so
yeah, right.
You know how it is.
What used to happen with me is it would get closer and closer to the end of the year, and I'd be more and more and more anxious that I hadn't released anything like substantial. So now I'm happy when I can get something out in the middle of the year, because I feel like I don't really have to do anything for the rest of the year per se. Not that it's like a yearly type of thing, because I don't try to release something every year. But so far, I've gotten, like, since 2022, that at the beginning of the year, that was Slycology. So that was great, because like releasing it right at the beginning of the year, it's like I don't even have to do anything this year.
the album, I love. By the way, I just want to say I love the album art for Slycology.
Oh,
it is
so good.
It is probably my favorite album art from any chiptune album ever.
That's so cool. I was, I reached out to Kef because I was like, I really want Kef to be able to do he just does such great stuff, and I just knew he would be able to nail that kind of vibe that I wanted, and like,
oh, dude, it was like lightning in a bottle.
Incredibly,
like hearing the album and looking at the album art, it just like it's the perfect marriage.
Yeah, thanks. Like, it was. I felt really good about it. So, and then 2023, I did that split tape with Go280. I've been meaning to put that stuff on streaming. I'll just release my half of it, obviously. But since I just put this one out, I'm gonna hold off on it for a bit. And then this year, honestly, it's weird because I've always felt like I never liked compilation albums because they never really seemed cohesive, and it just seemed like an excuse to release a bunch of old stuff that wasn't good. And it is, and that's true, and that's why I did it. But I also felt like, man, I'm kind of proud of some of this stuff, and I want, it to be like cataloged and presented nicely in a way that maybe people will appreciate it. And I also felt that a lot of the writing on the album is different in some ways from some of my LSDJ stuff, because there are a lot of sections of songs that don't really cohere. And so you'll hear like
aren't coherent, you mean? Like
no, they don't necessarily, like it'll be like sections A, B, and C within the same song, but you never hear like a real return to a previous motive. So, but some of it is written, like Naptown Shakedown is like basically a pop song because it was written for that city pop major. So I was really going for like pop song, which is just like absolutely stereotypical pop song, which I love. And even coffee shop indie pop to a certain extent, but everything else is like, oh cool, I'm excited to listen to this. I've just finished rambling for 1 minute.
Someone take over. I'm blank.
Oh yeah. And it's getting to be a little bit late for you too, but yeah. But I was just gonna say that like a lot of it, somebody tagged one of my songs with the tag Variety Hour, and so, but I also feel like the whole album kind of functions as a variety hour. So in a way, like the non-cohesive nature of it somehow makes it cohesive, which is something that I didn't really expect at all. So, and it was fun like trying to figure out how to sequence the tracks and stuff. Overall, it ended up being a really fun project, and I'm really happy with a lot of the songs on there. So that was cool. All right, let's take a listen. I do want to do something here, like
there's definitely room for fills.
I think it can be. Sounds like it can be consolidated a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I thought I'd try and like take out the drums for those 4 bars and have it more like down section.
Take out the drums and what's that?
So in like section 9.
Yeah.
In the last 4 bars, I thought if I take out all the hi-hats and snares, it can sort of have that sort of like low filter pass down section, and then bring it back in. You know.
Yeah.
Sort of like your is it Casting Shadows on the Psychology album? Sort of thing?
I stole some of that stuff from Je m'appelle, where he does that. He does that like using the noise and do we have an example? Yeah. I'll just use this like E command example. Like this as like a low pass. Is low pass, high pass? Yeah, like,
I can't remember which, but
so you can kind of emulate that by just shifting frequencies in the noise channel.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and save it. I don't know if we can. Do we want to listen to the whole thing all the way through? I feel like maybe only just the parts that we
maybe just a section we really
sections we worked on. So maybe here.
I think I just changed the instrument there.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
That's fine. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, that's fine. We can fix that
I know
later.
for a fact that Death Mechanism hates that.
Hates what?
Like how like it's not in time.
Oh, I don't care. We'll just clone these. Where is it? Is it on? So these guys are only 8 bars. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Well. Yeah. Here we go.
Counter melody came in the perfect time.
Nice. So then, what was what's going on here? Nothing.
Empty. Completely. I was trying to start with the bass and find the chords, but then I was like, I've got nothing. I thought maybe because it's in like sort of E, I thought you could go up to like a F major 7 sort of thing and work your way down.
Yeah.
But I couldn't quite, because you're in this sort of like you've got like the evil E stuff, so. Or whatever, and then you could.
Oh right.
Yeah. Or whatever, sort of. Or I don't know, it's maybe a bit too clean. But because you're on that A, because you're on. thought going up to that F could be quite nice as like a change, maybe.
Right. What else did you do there? It was like
so like F major 7, and then maybe some sort of E minor 7, and then from there you could do like a B flat major 6 or something.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll table that for next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to go back and reference this. If sometimes we've had like time in between streams to work on some stuff, so maybe it would be cool to like sketch that. I came into this one with this. Did I actually save this? I don't know. Oh, I'll hit load. That will be better. So that we can like remember what we were doing. Or I came into this one with just this. And it's already like morphed into this whole other thing, so it's really cool.
A long way from home, yeah.
Okay, so I'll save it one more time. But yeah, this is why like it's so crazy. I suppose if one of us was like, particular about how a song should be written, or like really like good with finding ways to make the song cohesive by like pulling in previous things, or like, hey, we should return to this section or we should take something from here and then like add it up here so that it kind of telegraphs. It's almost like somebody told me to do that in Super Science. They were like, you should take that melody that you bring in at the end and like introduce it earlier in the song. And I was like, oh, it's like cheating. It's like time travel.
That's literally what I did for the same song remix, is that you had this amazing little outro melody.
Right.
Saved that you had at the end. I'm like, dude, why did he not just like absolutely disrespect this melody and have it just play it way earlier? And so I turned it into like a chord progression and added it like at the very beginning as an intro.
That's so cool. And I think it's the only one of my tracks that's been remixed like officially and had released. I know there's been other like people have talked about doing it, or like made some progress on these things. And I'm always appreciative of whatever state they're in, because I feel like, dude, I wouldn't remix one of my songs.
I mean, I feel like it was like the project files are there. Like it seems like it should be already remixed.
Oh yeah, well, song. I mean, like I said, it just, to me, like it would strike me as a pretty ambitious task, and I don't mean that in a way that's like trying to, I kind of go nuts. It seems like it would be a real endeavor. I've tried to remix other people's LSDJ stuff, and like I have a hard time doing it because I don't really know what to remove and what to keep, and like how to develop. Like, do I take one idea and just develop that, in my own way? Because that could end up being pretty different from the original, which could be good or it could be bad. But then it's like, if I stay too close to the original, do I just change what they did, and then at that point you're like just kind of rearranging it, or like reorchestrating what they've already done but like differently, and then it feels weird in that way. So I never really know how far to go. I feel like the more different it is, the kind of cooler it could be. But then at some point, how far? What if it gets too far and then it's not even a remix anymore?
You can definitely you have to walk a tightrope remixing a song and having it stay true to the original and also be worth remixing in the first place.
Yeah, I gotta check it out again because it's been a minute.
And also communication is important. Last little detail before like the stream ends. Little side story is that me and Boo Boo were going to work on a song together forever ago, and he sent me a save over, and it was supposed to be like, yeah, we're going to do the remix of your song. And I ended up like, he ended up sending me like a save file of like many songs, and we weren't like clear on which song I was going to remix. So like I just picked one that I thought sounded great, and it turned out to be a song from a different artist that was sent to him that was on his save file. So I ended up remixing, making a song, and I'm like, dude, I sent it to you. I finished it. Like, I just sent you it. It's all done. What do you think? I love it. He's like, dude, this isn't even my song. Man. It was a completely different artist, and it was just like, what a shame, because if I had just said something, Like I would have been able. I mean, it's cool that the song exists, but it's also like a shame that I never got to do what I originally wanted to.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, it's nice that he offered you freedom to pick which song.
Yeah, I think I still have the save too, which is funny.
Nice. Well, this has been awesome. We went over a little bit longer, but it's been a blast. And thanks to Connor for joining us from the UK. This is still, I don't take that for granted by any means. And always happy to have Skip on stream, and always happy to not have Paul on stream. So,
wow. All right, well, hopefully he gets replaced by Roboctopus like permanently.
Yeah, that's what
he doesn't even join chat. He just like, all right, it's mean. Paul, you're great.
I'm sorry that we didn't make the song in 15/16 this time, but we'll have to. Maybe I'll mess with it with the groove math off stream because yeah. But yeah, this has been a blast. I'm gonna save the track and I'll post it so that we've got access to it soon. And thanks everybody in the chat for joining us. Thanks to Puke7 for everything. Thanks Steve, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Well, probably in 2 weeks, but I'll try to post it a little bit in advance. And yep, subscribe on Twitch. Go pick up Retro Spectacles. And we'll see you all again sometime soon.
Peace.